My name is Dan Frith, and I'm an attorney here in Roanoke, Virginia, with the law firm of Frith and Ellerman. There are two other attorneys in this firm, Lauren Ellerman and Bo Frith, and we all do basically the same thing. About 80% of our time is spent representing patients in medical malpractice cases against hospitals, surgeons, internal medicine doctors, labs, dentists, ophthalmologists, optometrists, podiatrists, numerous other healthcare professionals, including nursing homes and sometimes long-term care facilities. And most of our time is spent doing research on these cases with regard not only to the medicine involved, but also with regard to the individual physician or healthcare provider who may be the subject of the lawsuit. And in our discussions, we get a lot of comments from our clients saying, well, how do I know about Dr. Smith? I am 60 years old. I have been going to Dr. Jones in Big Stone Gap for 15 years. And Dr. Jones saw a bump or a lump in my chest. He x-rayed it and saw something there. And he wants to refer me to a surgeon or a pulmonologist in Bristol, Virginia, or Roanoke, Virginia. And this doctor's name is Dr. Smith. What do I know about Dr. Smith? Is he a good doctor? Well, it's hard to find out a lot of information about physicians unless you're in the medical field. You can, not being in the medical field, you can talk with others, but if you're being referred to somebody outside of your community, there might not be anybody in your community that knows that physician. So what I want to share with you today is a little way that you might obtain some additional medical information that's fairly reliable. And when you're trying to determine whether or not to put your life in the hands of a physician that you do not know. Please remember, Google is your friend. You can Google any physician and usually come up with several different hits and information that might be relevant to you in trying to make a decision as to whether to go to that doctor. But let me show you another way that you might consider trying. It's fairly simple. It costs nothing. And let me, excuse me while I share my screen with you here. There we go. Okay. What I'm sharing with you is a site maintained by the state of Virginia. You'll see up here at the top, if you can see my cursor, the Virginia Department of Health Professions. It's an agency of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And this is the opening page of their website. Their website is D as in David, H as in Henry, P as in Paul, .virginia.gov. It provides you with all kinds of information on doctors, whether it's a doctor you've been going to for 20 years or someone you've just been referred to. So you go to this site and you click on public resources. Under public resources, you see it'll allow you to file a complaint, look up a license. This is something not relevant, particularly same case decisions. You want consumer information. So public resources, then to consumer information. Click on that. Now, here's the various information that you can get. Case decisions. When a complaint is made against a physician and they investigate it and issue a report, those fall under the case decisions. It's not organized very well, and for the purposes of what we have going on today, I won't talk about that. License lookup. Here's what you may find of interest. Doctors' profiles. Click on doctors' profiles. All right, now, gives you several options down the left-hand side of the page. You can go back to the home page and start all over again, or you can search on doctor profiles. Let's search doctor profiles. Okay, brings up the last name of the doctor. And I'm going to suggest one because I've already looked. T-C-H-A-M is the physician that we're going to look up today. You can do by locations if you want, and it has all the different areas in Virginia. If you have a common last name like Smith and you don't know the first full name. Let's do all locations. It allows you to search by profession. And any profession, doctor of medicine, doctor of osteopathy, as many of you know, there are doctors trained in traditional medical schools and they're medical physicians as opposed to osteopathic physicians. And then a doctor of podiatric medicine. Those are folks who are trained just to do work on the foot and sometimes ankle. But let's look up a profile search on a doctor whose last name is Ketchum. And we won't even put the city or location where he lives. See if he's there. We have two of them. We have one in Jonesboro, I guess that's Arkansas. Sometimes licensed physicians licensed in Virginia practice elsewhere as well, either as a result of leaving Virginia or coming to Virginia from another state. But here is the doctor I want to look at first, Robert Ketchum. He's a psychiatrist, and they have their medical doctorate degree, and he's in McLean, Virginia. Well, what kind of information would you be able to obtain from the Virginia Board of Medicine on Robert Ketchum? Click on it. Aha. So here we go. Here's the general information that he has listed and registered with the Virginia Department of Health Professions. Here's his professional address, phone number, yada, 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 whether or not he does not participate in Medicaid, he doesn't treat Medicaid patients, not accepting new Virginia Medicaid patients, not affiliated with any hospital that he has reported. I didn't give you a whole lot of information. Well, let's find out, where did he go to school? Where did he go to medical school? Well, gives you an idea a little bit how old he is. He went to Georgetown University School of Medicine and he finished in 1973. So Georgetown University is a medical program well thought of, highly regarded. So that's impressive. He did a residency, finished it in 1976 in psychiatry at Georgetown. And here's some information about his continuing education. They have so many hours they have to get on a regular annual basis to maintain their license. Well, what is his certification in practice areas? Well, not only did he graduate medical school, a good medical school, and do a residency thereafter, he is also board certified in psychiatry. And you'll see his initial year of board certification was in 1977. That means after he did his medical school and did his training, sort of in-house training as a resident, he went on and passed certification exam for board certification in psychiatry and neurology. And that current certification doesn't expire. Some different specialties have different lengths of time in which they will, certification remains before it expires. Here's one, he probably became certified before they started having that requirement for recertification. So that gives you some information. Insurance, this tells you primarily if he can report this, what insurance plans he takes and whatnot. Does he have any honors and awards? Well, he hadn't reported any. Academic appointments, well, by golly, this physician, Dr. Robert Ketchum, became an assistant clinical professor, presumably of psychiatry at Georgetown in 1976 and still holds that. He hasn't put any other academic appointments, and he doesn't, or non-US academic appointments, and he doesn't list any publications. Now, proceedings and civil actions. No felony convictions, no actions taken by any other state or organization other than Virginia Board of Medicine. But here, the Virginia Board of Medicine has taken some sort of action with regard to this physician. Let's see what that is. Click here. It takes you to this screen where you can accept or not accept. Accepting it basically says, I understand that basically what I'm making is a Freedom of Information Act request against the state of Virginia or to the state of Virginia Board of Medicine for information that they can appropriately disclose and that is appropriately public information. So you could accept. It tells you what she has. Here's his name again. And the date of whatever event, what type of document exists, how big it is, and can you view it? It says this one's unavailable, not sure why, but here's a document that is still available through the state of Virginia, May the 6th of 2021. It's an order of some sort by the Virginia Board of Medicine. Let's see what that is. This is called a consent order. Virginia Board of Medicine and Dr. Ketchum, as evidenced by their signatures, in lieu of proceeding to an informal conference, enter into the following consent order affecting Dr. Ketchum's license to practice medicine in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Read down here, paragraph 1, findings of fact. This says when he was licensed to practice medicine. 2, that he violated, the allegation was that he had violated certain provisions of Virginia law. You don't really have to know what those are. Because then they go down here and they tell you specifically the facts involved. They protect the names of the patients involved. It says prior to prescribing patient A psychostimulant, there's the name of the medication, an addictive medication with significant abuse potential at his initial office visit, February of 2017, Dr. Ketchum failed to properly assess and evaluate the patient. And then they go on specifically at this visit, it goes into more specific. So this is event number A. Keep scrolling down. B, during the remaining treatment period, again, let's talk about the same patient. He failed to adequately and appropriately manage and monitor patient A's psychostimulant medications and prescribed him Klonopin and Lunesta, both C4 medications absent adequate medical indication. Specifically, more detail. More and more detail goes on and on and on. Next visit. It's a fairly lengthy report here, or consent order. And you see when you get to the very bottom, what did Dr. Ketchum and the board agree to? Ketchum agreed that he had been advised to seek legal counsel. He's fully aware of that without his consent, no legal action can be taken against him. He admits to the findings of fact and conclusions of law contained herein and waive any right to contest it and any sanction imposed hereunder. I consent to the entry of the following order. And here's the order of the Board of Medicine. Based on the foregoing findings and conclusions of law, and remember, the physician agreed to this, Dr. Ketchum is subject to the following terms and conditions. Within 6 months of this order, Ketchum shall submit evidence satisfactory to the board that he has completed 15 hours of board-approved continuing medical education in the subject of the diagnosis and treatment of attention deficit disorder. So it's called being placed on terms. The Virginia Board of Medicine said, hey, we're not going to take any action with regard to your license to practice medicine so long as you comply with this order, to which he agreed. That gives you some information with regard to this physician. It may or may not be relevant, but it's just one additional piece of information that you can find in dealing with searching for information on a physician. And the last thing I meant to show you here, we're going to go back and search again Dr. Ketchum. There he is. Remember, he's the psychiatrist in McLean, Virginia. This last category says paid claims. Now, this is self-reported paid claims, ladies and gentlemen. We've had many situations where the doctor settled a lawsuit against him, a malpractice case, and did not report it. They're required to do so. I don't know what happens to them when they don't require that or don't make those. But you can scroll all the way down the bottom and it will say this license E, meaning Dr. Ketchum, has reported the following paid claims in the past 10 years, none reported. So that is one way you can get some information through the Department of Health Professions. Let me go back to the original page. If I can, there you go. And it may be helpful to you and as you search for information on a doctor that you're trying to find some level of comfort with for yourself, a spouse, a parent, or a child. So thank you so much for listening to us and wish you the best.